This is the Newsload.
Hi, I'm Carrie Anne Stevenson, and I'm here with Newsload. And today I am so excited to interview Sarah McVie. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Oh, Carrie, I'm great. I'm great. Oh, I'm so glad to say it and mean it.
LA, and you're busy, eh?
I'm in Los Angeles. Yeah, just trying to, beat the drum up some interest, see what happens.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to do here.
Is it auditions and meetings and lunches?
Oh, it's mostly yoga classes and a lot of hiking. And last night I tried some marijuana, and I didn't. I'm not in Canada, and I'm just a dabbler. I'm not, a heavy indulger. But knocked my socks off. Because they don't have quite the same labeling here. So it's an adventure. You got to love America. I do love America, but I love Canada too. No, I am here for work. Yeah, no, I'm just, I'm interested. I'm poking around just to see what's possible.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
It's a funny thing, I got to tell you, because I'm 45. I know, right? I wait for reactions. I don't know why. Because people tell me, oh, you look so much younger. Do I? I don't know. I've always felt 40-ish. Even when I was 12, I remember thinking, I feel more 40 than anything. And now I've come into myself. But I'm 45 and I'm like trying to crack into Hollywood. Who does that?
What's his name? The Breaking Bad guy, I think Bryan Cranston, 47 is when he got, Malcolm in the Middle. So
talk about looking good. I have a friend who did a scene with Bryan Cranston. He had a good time. Oh. Yeah, okay, good. That's an inspiring story. And I remember in my 30s constantly repeating that Glenn Close got The World According to Garp at 33. That was her break-in. But now I'm 45, so I don't tell that story anymore. I know, and that was the other thing. I was like, well, Glenn Close. And then as I passed 33, 34, 35, I was like, never mind, moving on. Now I'm going to tell the Bryan Cranston thing. Bryan Cranston, how old? 48?
47, 48, yeah.
7. I'm so far from that now. No, who cares? I mean, the thing is, the world, the one thing I've learned at this age, because God damn it, am I wise or what at 45? I'm getting very condescending as I get older, because I do know a thing or two. Is that the thinking is the thing. You think no, it'll be no.
Absolutely. Just manifest it, make it happen.
Yeah, stay open. And that's what comedy is good for, right? Because that's sorry, who's leading this interview? Carrie, please. This is your...
No. Talk away. Absolutely. Comedy is timeless. I love that, Joan Rivers was working until the end,
I know. Did you see that doc? The doc about Joan Rivers?
No.
Oh, girl. There's it opens with a close-up on her face as she's putting her makeup on. So you see a kind of behind the curtain. Oh, it's so good. And then it's just what a ball buster she was. And, but what's that called when they're on the front, just pushing. Anyway, what a character. What a woman. Yeah.
A lot of inspiring women in comedy, especially you. I loved you in Working Moms. You were hilarious.
Thank you, Carrie. What fun. I mean, could you tell I was having fun? Sometimes it was a lot of fun.
I have to ask right away, showing off your butt, how nervous were you about, being so beautiful?
Are you talking season 3 when I was in my skimpies? I was just telling a story the other day, because if I may, as a woman, my journey, it's not unsimilar to many others, teased in the schoolyard, right? I can remember, and I often recall in therapy still, that those moments of elephant, Tank was my nickname in grade 4 or 5. Tank. Those people are watching. How dare you? But you know what? Then it turned me into the person I am, so it's all fine. But so the body image stuff was heavy in my brain. And right through, I was in classical acting first. I was at Shakespeare. I was at Stratford doing Shakespeare. It's kind of a double-edged sword, because they want there's this typical classical thing, but I didn't have the boobs, and but I did have the butt, and it was just so much judgment about the body. And hopefully that's changed. But then Catherine Reitman, bless that woman for casting me, first of all, for giving me a chance. Season 3, Val's going to be, on acid in her bra and underwear. And I'm going, what? You want to do that on television? because I don't see that. I don't see this on television. At that point, I really didn't, even still, there's not enough of it, of my body on television. I mean, that's not what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying bodies like mine that are, not the typical thing, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it was vulnerable making, but I couldn't have asked for a better experience. Much better than my other first experiences, I'll tell you that. The crew was supportive, everyone was respectful. Catherine made me feel like $1 million. She really did. She said, no, first of all, you're beautiful. And second of all, this show is about real people and real bodies and real stuff. And it's important to me. And I thought, damn, that's, this is kind of a lifelong dream to find the confidence to do it. And then, yeah, the butt stuff later, I mean, yeah, I never actually did feel vulnerable because I was so supported in a different, and I've been in work circumstances where it was not good. It was, more in my early career. And to be honest, when there was a male at the helm, there's been some moments that I can remember this British director with his hands on my butt, telling me, those moments, washed away. I mean, they're still there. I don't forget them. I just told you it. But yeah, this was like all celebration, all fun. Yeah. So kind of love it. Yeah, I kind of love it. Now, sometimes now in public, it's only happened a couple of times, someone will be like, where's your butt? Because it was enhanced a little bit. I've got a pretty good butt, but the truth is it was enhanced. And so, now people are looking for that luscious derriere, and maybe they're a little bit disappointed with my bottom. Oh. I like my bottom just fine. And that's a great thing about you can accentuate things with props and costumes, I'm always encouraging friends that aren't actors, play, get yourself some cutlets, we call them chicken cutlets in the industry, or some padding here, padding there. Yeah. Temporary tattoo, whatever floats your boat.
How do you react to negative, treatment and such?
No, do you mean like online stuff?
Well, online, also you mentioned the director who was grabbing your butt and such, how do you deal?
Well, back then I didn't deal well. I did not deal well. I internalized it. It's still the case. People want to work, right? I need to work. I need a job. Look, I'm down here I need work. But unfortunately, I didn't have the strength, of experience and age. I wish I could go back with what I've got now in my 40s to my 20s, because in my head I was, I'm the problem. I what is wrong with me and my body? And it was I got to change it. I was cast in a role where traditionally it's a smaller person. And I thank goodness I have the parents I have. I was healthy enough to see that I'm going to do it in a healthy way. So I started doing triathlons, just for a time in my 20s. And so I used athletics, but I restricted my eating. I was just so tense about it all the time. So sad. It's just so pathetic. I mean, why, Anyway, but I love a variety of bodies. And so I did then too, but I was in this patriarchal, world that I was a part of and that I was a part of playing along with, unfortunately. So back then I didn't react so well. Now I try to go to humor. I try to. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get angry, but I realize there's no good. I wish in that moment that director had done that, and he's long gone. I wish I had grabbed it, I don't want to grab him. What would I do? What would I say? What would be the perfect? Sarah Silverman had a thing on her podcast the other day, a good comeback, because this story of a woman being, her boobs were commented on. And so she makes a comment back, what about your dick or whatever? But then the thing is, I don't want to be doing the same thing back. You know what I mean? So it's such a conundrum. It really, it's a good question because you got to practice them. Sometimes I just go, naughty,
fluff it off, ignore them,
fluff it off, and don't give it too much energy. Don't give it too much energy, because that's
support
just
the positive,
energy.
Encourage the encouragement.
No energy would be good. I guess in that moment, just none, and walking away would have been, It's hard though not to give any energy because you feel the rage. Where do you put that? But when you give the person the rage, it's energizing the thing they just did.
It really is.
It really is.
And sometimes the trolls want that.
I'm getting a thing in my, did you see Julia Roberts' post? She's talking about it right now. She posted a lovely picture of her and her daughter at looks like a kitchen table playing cards. And so there's some kind of interview where she's talking about how badly it made her feel to read the comments. Oh, she's aging bad. Julia freaking Roberts at her. And she's remarking on, in her 50s. I don't know how old she is. Here I am, and I still feel attacked. I feel sad. I can't imagine what it's like to be 14. I know. It's
In
just
this
not.
day and age too, with so much confusion and so many different messages, and like, be who you want to be, but who am I? I'm 14.
Worried about the teens. I have 3 teenage nieces, and I recently have 2 stepsons, and one of them is a teenager. So now I'm getting the male perspective too, and it's a nightmare for both, and I want to make it better for them. So I just try to, positivity, celebrate difference, variety. Yeah, because you're right. There's this pressure, right? Be anything you want to be, but be this, and you're that.
I can't imagine.
I know.
Have you met someone that made you starstruck?
I try not to be, because I know it's not cool to be. I try not to be. But I'm just thinking about the fact that I'm going to meet Mae Martin on Tuesday, because I'm going to, do you know the Handsome Pod?
No.
Okay, it's a podcast that Mae is doing with Tig Notaro, and they're having a live taping here in LA. So actually, you know what? This is part of the story, Carolyn Taylor is the one who helped me get into to get some tickets for the show, because it was Carolyn Taylor makes me starstruck. So does Meredith McNeil, like those Baroness von Sketch. Now, who else have I met? Like back in my early days, when I was in, my 20s, I met Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. Yeah, kiss me on the cheek. Haven't washed it since 25 years. Yeah, I got to meet Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. They came to a show that I was in, because there was a big wig in it. Yeah, so that made me starstruck. And also his blue eyes. Are you a Paul Newman fan?
Very much so.
Blue. This is right before he passed away. I think he passed away the next year. But the two of them together, what a love story too. Anyway, that made me starstruck. But it's so long ago, I've forgotten. That was, I was a big fan already. The where he eats the eggs. Which one's that? What's that movie? I think I had just discovered it. Where he's a prisoner and he eats like 50 eggs. Darn, gone. Oh well. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of the movie.
You get starstruck? Do you get starstruck?
Very much so. I'm a little starstruck right now. I think you're amazing.
Oh. Thanks. But yeah, I gotta work on playing it cool, because in this town, you gotta be nonchalant. That's never been my forte, nonchalance.
Have you had any crazy fans say anything that, has thrown you off?
No, I love the fans. I love it. It's so funny. It's really funny to be at this stage in sort of like a public relationship, because everywhere I go in the world, and I travel a lot, people in small places too. Oh, I love working moms, whatever. So you do get used to, they recognizing me because of working moms. And then occasionally I'll be like, oh, yeah. Oh, and it'll be like, no, I don't know. Actually, no, I made a mistake. I don't know who you are. And you're like, oh, I was expecting you to gush on me, and you didn't. No, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, Sarah, come on, check yourself. I love it. Yeah, it's really good. I mean, the one thing is, I was at a restaurant with my boyfriend. It's the butt thing. And this couple came up, oh, we love the show. Where's the butt? And then he turns to my boyfriend and goes, you must love that butt. My boyfriend is not impressed with that. We were like, no butt stuff, stranger. You have to if you want in on our butt stuff, you need our consent. We need a rapport. That was the only thing. Don't comment on my butt. Don't comment on people's bodies or appearances. Like, if we could just shift that. I mean, I'm guilty of it too, but like, you're so beautiful. Yeah, I probably said it to you. You are beautiful. I'm looking at you. That's what I want to say. But like, why do we feel the need? If we could just, your soul, I feel your vibration. I don't know, just dig a little deeper. I think it would be better for everyone. But no, I love the fan stuff.
My favorite online posting was Trevor K. Wilson from Letterkenny. He has a bit where does your girlfriend stick their fingers in your butts, and
Well, I got to check that.
And he's married now, so they would approach the wife and be like, does your wife finger your butts, kind of thing. Yeah. And he posted on like, stop asking my wife.
I mean, if it happened too much, I would definitely say something, but it's only occasionally. I'm glad that my boyfriend was with me because, it echoes back to that early stuff in my 20s. And I might have been, if I was alone, I've been like, how like sometimes people do that, like, oh, yeah, when you don't like something and you're like, laughing it off. But because my boyfriend is amazing, not in the industry at all, not, just so grounded. And he's just like, that's not okay. And I'm like, you're right, that's not okay. So it's really like, I'm finding it very helpful. Yeah.
And that's wonderful that you're with someone that's not in the industry. So opposites attract sort of thing.
I think it's not on purpose necessarily. It's just, I guess I did in the back of my mind when I was younger think it's a little complicated to be with someone in the industry. I just observed relationships and thought that seems extra hard. But it's not like I avoided anyone in the industry. I've had lots of wonderful romances in my life, and some of them have been in the industry. And had it worked, who knows? Might be a different story. Hollywood power couple, but no, this is a neighbor that I moved to a part of Toronto 2.5 years ago, that I didn't even know, and because I wanted to buy a house in Toronto, big lifelong dream, huge hustle to do it. Lots of sleeping on my parents' basement to make things work. Got the house. Mind you, it's on a floodplain, a particularly bad part of Toronto, floodplain. So, it's not perfect. Worst case scenario, I'll build an ark, Sarah's ark. I've already got 2 dogs, one boy and one girl. Mind you, they can't procreate because they're fixed. So I'm going to think through that plan later. But I bought in this neighborhood, I didn't know anyone. And I thought, I don't know anyone. What am I doing? And it's like predominantly Portuguese, which is fine. But I'm, Scottish, Irish, 5th generation settler, just don't speak Portuguese, barely speak French, only because I had to. And I love the language, just I'm not good at learning languages. And I've been with my neighbor who's Portuguese for 2 years now. And his kids call me stepmom, and I am in for life. I mean, I love it.
That's wonderful.
But I can only say obrigado.
That you're, like when in Rome or in, little
when Portugal, eat the barbecue chicken. But I have got to work on the language. It is very difficult, especially because it is a little bit, it's got it's a Latinate language, and the French comes in my head, and I know a little Spanish. And anyway, I need a tutor. So if you know anyone in Toronto, because he's from mainland Portugal, not Brazil. And all the apps that are like Babbel and everything, it's Brazilian Portuguese, which apparently is different. And so different that I should cancel my subscription to that app and not be learning that one. And oh my gosh. So I need to.
Spain and Mexico, it's different.
Yeah, exactly. Totally different. And apparently the Azores, the islands, totally different than the mainland too. So I'm learning a lot. And we're total opposites. He is nothing to do with, and we have different tastes in even comedy. But then we have places where we cross over.
And it's growing and learning from each other and such, which is fabulous.
It is really fun. Yeah.
Well, Sarah, I absolutely adore you. I think you're brilliant. I hope, I send you positive vibes and hope that, your journey in LA is a success and wonderful. And if I can just ask you for one last thing, if I can bother you to say, I love Newsload.
Of course. I love Newsload.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I hope you have an amazing day. Enjoy the sunshine, and cheers to you.
Cheers to you, Carrie. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
This is the Newsload.